This year, 2024, is the 15-year anniversary of the release of Battlefield 1943, and this game was very unique to the Battlefield series. Not only was it a console exclusive, despite there being a planned PC version that was eventually canceled, but another thing is that this was not a full-priced Battlefield game. It only cost $15 on the Xbox Live Marketplace and PlayStation Store. But despite only being $15, it was better than most $60 games that were released at the time. It was a very amazing game that was a shit ton of fun to play. Unfortunately, as most of you guys may know, the official servers for 1943 were shut down by EA in December of 2023. They also shut down Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2 servers, but Bad Company 2 is still playable online on PC, because there's custom servers available on the PC platform, and the game still lives on. Bad Company 1 and 1943 are a completely different story, though, because they did not get a PC release. There's no custom servers or custom clients that can be utilized to save the game. So as of right now, yes, both Bad Company 1 and 1943 are completely unplayable in 2024. Well, at least 43 is. Bad Company 1 still is technically playable if you just want to play single player, but since 1943 was an online-only game, you cannot play it at all anymore, which is very sad. Now, what's the point of this video then? Well, to share my last gameplay ever of 1943. That's one reason why. I recorded this gameplay a couple of days before the server shut down, and it was a really sad thing knowing that I have perhaps played this game for the last time in my life. But there is still hope that one day we will be able to play 1943 again. Same thing with Battlefield Bad Company 1. And the reason why is because of modders. You got a lot of talented people in the Battlefield community currently trying to reverse engineer the code of the game to get the servers back online and make the game playable again. Because EA gave a pretty long notice that they were going to shut these servers down, I think it was like April that they announced it, so they gave us a 9-month notice that this was happening. That allowed for people to capture as much data as they possibly could and prepare themselves to preserve the game and make it playable again one day. I'm confident that one day, yes, we will be able to play Battlefield 1943 again, and the reason why I say that is because not only are there some very talented people working to bring the game back, even though they haven't made too much progress so far, this stuff takes time. It's very complicated. You're pretty much trying to work with 15-year-old code for a game that is no longer playable. And yeah, it takes a while. Remember, Battlefield 2 Modern Combat was offline for 12 years before that game finally became playable online again. So it's possible. Anything's possible. It seems like it'll be more likely that the game will be brought back on PlayStation 3 rather than Xbox 360, just because it's a lot easier to get games back on for PS3. You notice that there were a whole bunch of them that had their online functionality restored, like the Killzone games, Warhawk, whole bunch of games actually. MotorStorm, I think. Like, I can go on, but it's a lot easier to do that for PS3 than 360. So if you don't have a PS3, you might have to get one down the line if you want to play 1943 again, but this could be something that may potentially take years to happen. So don't worry about that right now. I will tell you guys, though, that when the game comes online or when there's any updates about it coming online, I will be the first to let you guys know. Remember when they did bring back the online for Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, I made a video. I was the first person to post a video on it on YouTube in 2023 when it came back. So I plan on doing the same thing for 1943 and Bad Company 1. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I remember there was a YouTuber. His name was TheEnd004500. This is back in 2011, 2012. Back then, this guy was my favorite YouTuber ever. Never missed a single upload. He would always post Battlefield 1943, Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3 videos all the time. And I would watch all of them because he was such a charismatic dude. And he was so talented. He was really good at the game, much better than I ever could be. He's the YouTuber that got me into Battlefield in the first place, especially 1943. He would do these crazy clips where he's jumping off the plane, no-scoping people, and doing these crazy-ass things that I could only dream of doing myself. And he would also post videos every day during the PlayStation Network outage back in 2011, trying to survive the great PlayStation outage. and trying to do things like go outside and and not go on PlayStation. And I also remember watching his Grand Theft Auto 4 live streams on Ustream. Yeah, so this is way, way, way back in the day. He was a great YouTuber, and I found out a year or two after the fact that he took his own life. He was a Marine, and I guess I don't know what happened, but he definitely went through some shit. And that really crushed me, bro. Like, this is someone who I never met in my life before, but his loss really, like, affected me because I watched him so much years and years and years ago. And, like, just the idea that he's gone and he's no longer on this earth is just crazy. And it's fucked up. Whenever I play 1943, I always think of him, and sadly I can't play it anymore, which really, it feels like another part of him died when the server shut down, which sounds stupid, but it really hits hard. It does. I've never really experienced that with a dead YouTuber before. Let me know, has there ever been a YouTuber that has passed away and that has affected you in a significant way? Because I could tell you, like, when you're a content creator, you don't really think of the people that watch your videos, like, and that you can have an impact on them, even if it's small, like just them liking your videos or whatever. Like, you don't realize that you actually do have an effect on people's lives. And especially someone like me who's been around for 15 years on the internet now, on YouTube, I have a lot of history, and a lot of people have been following me over the years during most of my life. Most of my time on this earth has been me making YouTube videos, which is crazy, but it's true. I was 11 years old when I uploaded my first video, and time really flies. It really does. You don't realize it, but it does. Especially as you get older and older. If you're like 12 or 13 years old, you don't really think about that, but it hits you eventually. So it sounds cliche, but cherish every moment you have because you don't know when it's going to be your last, or when it's going to be the last time you ever see someone that's your friend, family, whoever that's important to you. World can be a really fucked up place sometimes, but all you can do is keep pushing ahead and hope for the best, you know? That's all anybody can do. But yeah, I remember when I first played Battlefield 1943, that YouTuber, he definitely inspired me to pick it up in the first place, but it came with my pre-order for Battlefield 3 on the PlayStation 3. And those fuckers at EA, they promised that if you got Battlefield 3, you would get a download code for 1943 on PlayStation 3. Then they changed it. And they're like, oh no, we're actually not going to give you 1943. So then there was a class action lawsuit filed against EA. So then they eventually gave everyone a free code for 1943 who purchased Battlefield 3. So that's how I first got the game back in late 2011. And I would play it on and off for the next 13 years or so. I later switched to the Xbox 360 version, which was backwards compatible on Xbox One and also Series S and Series X. It always felt weird coming back because I'm now accustomed to playing games at least 60 frames per second, like as a minimum, when I switched over from console to PC. Then going back to this game that was locked at 30 frames, it was very rough sometimes, but I still had a lot of fun with it, even after all those years. It's just a great game. As basic as it is, there is no customization, there's only 3 classes, all have the same weapons, and there's just not much in terms of progression and content. There really aren't that many maps in the game. Most of them, all of them actually, were ripped from Battlefield 1942. And the one in this gameplay, Wake Island, was just so overdone at that point because you had it in Battlefield 1942, which was the original game. Then it was in Battlefield 2. Then it was in Battlefield 2142. And then it was in Battlefield 3. And it's in Battlefield 1943. There's just so many games that they had to put Wake Island in there. There's actually a total of 9 different Battlefield games that had Wake Island featured. There was also Battlefield 5 more recently, Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Vietnam actually had Wake Island as well, so yeah, it was a lot. It's like the shipment of the Battlefield series, or the Nuketown of Battlefield. But I don't care how the game doesn't really have that much content in it. It's still more fun. It's a better game than 2042, better than Battlefield 5, better than a lot of Battlefield games, actually. I would put it up on the high tier of Battlefield games, which is probably controversial because it's not like one of the most beloved Battlefield games ever, but that's my opinion. I wish we got a PC version, because then we'd be playing the game right now, and it would be great. 60 FPS, keyboard and mouse, all that would be awesome, but it was never meant to be, sadly. Hopefully one day we'll be able to play this amazing game again. This game had full servers. People were playing this game a lot. So EA shutting it down was completely unjustified. Like, it was very popular, even to this day. So, yeah, we need it back. We really do.